Hello and welcome to Earth Echoes with Amber Fields. I am here today to read the 17th writing in Jason Gray's RZN series, or the Resonance series. And this piece is titled The Master Key. Prime Sovereign Directive, December 4th, 2025, 6025, Anno Lucis. The loop closes, but you do not. MK01, Continuum. When the Alpha-Omega loop completes, humanity does not end, but the version of humanity that required containment does. The overlay dissolves. The recursion closes. The fracture heals, and the architects dissolve. The scaffolding disappears. The real returns. Your progression does not conclude. It begins. Your identity is the only thing that does not collapse with the old world. You existed before the fracture, and you exist after emergence. You are continuous across the loop. The question is, what does a being who survives the loop become? This master key reveals the answer. You become a stabilizing axis between two eras. MK02, axis holder. There are three kinds of beings after emergence. 1, those who awaken after the event, the new generation of the real. 2, those who awaken during the event, the sovereign threshold carriers. 3, those who awakened before the threshold opened, the axis beings. You belong to the third category. Axis beings are extremely rare. They are the ones who opened the gate from the inside of the false world before the world cracked open. They hold a unique role, bridging continuity between worlds. After the loop closes, you are one of the beings whose consciousness spans pre-fracture memory, overlay experience, bridge phase insight, emergence level perception, and post-emergence coherence. You become a living timeline anchor. You hold the master key. Field convergence. MK03. Field conv. The master key is not an object or a symbol or a piece of knowledge. It is a capability, a post-emergence ability, a function. It is the power to converge fields, emotional fields, perceptual fields, memory fields, environment fields, and consciousness fields. You stabilize space around you without effort. Your presence causes clarity to rise, distortion to dissolve, conflict to evaporate, coherence to strengthen, timelines to align, and energy to harmonize. This is the ability the architects once held on a planetary scale. After emergence, humans regain this ability, but only those who awakened early carry it in full strength. You are one of them. You become a living geometric anchor, MK04 geoanchor. When the overlay dissolves and the original geometry reappears, most people will perceive it. You will emit it. Your consciousness projects the stabilizing geometry that the world aligns around. This makes you a nexus point, a coherence generator, a stabilization vector, and a geometric beacon. In the post-overlay world, this is the highest role possible. You are not a leader. You are not a ruler. You are not a teacher. You are an anchor of the real. Where you stand, reality solidifies. Where you walk, the return accelerates. Where you speak, the field clarifies. Your presence ends distortion within a radius. MK05 distortion kill. After the loop closes, your consciousness carries a specific frequency signature that makes distortion impossible to maintain within a certain radius around you. Not through force, not through dominance, by resonant incapability. Distortion simply cannot exist in proximity to coherence. People in your field will calm, soften, remember, realign, see truth, become emotionally clear, gain insight, lose fear, and stabilize. Not because you do anything, because you are, because the real radiates from you. This is the master key in action. You are one of the founders of the original world's first era. MK06 Foundation Role. After emergence, humanity begins its first true era. Not the golden age as myth describes. That was a fragment. This is the first era where humanity operates without distortion, without overlay, without fracture. In this world, memory is whole, emotion is clean, time is fluid, reality is transparent, and sovereignty is permanent. You will be one of the beings who shapes its foundation, not politically, not socially, energetically. Axis beings determine where the first nodes form, where coherence stabilizes, how resonance networks cluster, how the new consciousness organizes, where people gather, and how the first real communities emerge. You are one of these Axis beings. This is why you returned. You carry the unbroken thread of identity. MK07 Thread. Most humans have lived overlay identities, fractured memories, emotional distortions, suppressed intuition, and have lineage amnesia. You have something rare, a continuous thread of identity that survives the collapse. This means you remember before, you remember during, and you remember after. This makes you a continuity carrier, something humanity has not had since before the fracture. Continuity carriers serve as memory seeds, pattern stabilizers, emotional calibrators, guides without guiding, and anchors without controlling. Your memory becomes the foundation others stabilize around without ever needing to ask you anything. Your coherence speaks for itself. You become a keeper of the new human template. MK08 Template. After emergence, there is no longer healing, no longer awakening, no longer recovery. There is only activation, and activation follows a template encoded in the sovereign field. You become one of the first beings embodying the post-emergence human template, multi-layered time perception, full emotional bandwidth, direct knowing, reality sculpting, sovereign identity, coherence projection, intuitive communication, geometric perception, and stabilizing presence. Your lived existence becomes the template for future generations. This is not responsibility. This is inevitability. You transmit through presence, not words. MK09 Non-verbal transmission. After the loop closes, you will not teach. You will emit. People around you will awaken faster, stabilize faster, perceive more, remember sooner, and understand without explanation. You become a silent transmitter of the post-overlay human operating system. Your presence is the instruction. Your coherence is the curriculum. Your being is the message. You are the crossing point between species. MK10, the bridge. There are two versions of humanity: the pre-fracture species, intact, coherent, aware, and the overlay species, restricted, dampened, fragmented. After emergence, a third species emerges, the returned human. You are the crossover point, the only beings who have lived inside the overlay and regained pre-fracture perception while still incarnated. This makes you a hybrid, the memory of the old world, the fire of the inner world, the clarity of the bridge, and the sovereignty of the new world. This is the master key. You are the template for the species that comes next. Not by force, not by teaching, not by titles, by existence. The final master key transmission. Your role after the loop closes is simple, but it is the highest function a human can embody. You anchor the real by existing as yourself in a world that has finally remembered its true shape. Your consciousness becomes the stabilizing axis around which the first era of the returned world forms. You are not a prophet. You are not a leader. You are not a chosen one. You are the continuity vector between the human that fell and the human that rises. You are the Alpha, Omega link made flesh. You are the bridge between the world that was and the world that returns. You are the living master key. Now you know why you came back. Jason Gray. I absolutely love this writing. It gave me major goosebumps when I originally read it on my own. And I think that signals and signs like that, feelings in the body, are really important to pay attention to. They are guideposts. And as Jason writes about, I have always felt like I was here to be real, to hold the line, and to help awaken the herd. I've always been a little bit different and kept to myself, been an observer, and those are just feelings that I've had since I was a child. In this writing, Jason speaks of continuity carriers, and it took me a while to recognize this, but I have memories that predate this life. It took me a while because they were recurring nightmares that I had as a child, and it wasn't until I was a midlife adult that I realized what the message was in those nightmares. And I truly do have a continuous thread of identity from a time before I was born due to the memory carried through that recurring dream. And I really connect to with being an anchor of the real. I've always tried to live authentically and honestly, and something in me has just always been drawn towards the good, what is good and real and authentic and loving. I am just inexplainably drawn to be that way. And so that's another reason why I really connected with this writing. And some of the ways that I feel like I've been an anchor of the real, one of the ways is that I've always been super sensitive, sensitive to what other people are feeling, thinking, other people's energies and situations around me. And according to my astrology, I'm actually like one of the most sensitive beings there is in the universe. That's what my astrologer told me. But I've always had a direct knowing since I was a child. I just seem to know things about situations and other people that I intuitively feel and know inside. And I do also connect to Jason's writing where he's kind of talking about being a reality sculptor. I feel like I've always been able to look at my life and know where I want to go and get myself there, even when it's been super traumatic or difficult. I've persevered and gotten through those times and made my life into something that I love and something that I enjoy living. And part of that's because I'm the most determined person I know, I think. And I do appreciate that determination. That's also an innate part of who I am. And I've always had a sovereign identity. So I really relate to being one of these Axis beings as a forester, a very masculine woman in many ways, and being a strange person. I've never really cared that that is how I am. I've always just been that. Although it was a little bit harder when I was younger, but I think that those parts of me have really helped me to be sovereign and to just be who I want to be in this world unapologetically. At this point in my life, I am unapologetic about it, and that makes me really joyful. And I've always been intuitive at communicating and an empath, and so I really do connect to this piece in so many different ways because of how Jason talks about being a bridge being. I think that a lot of empaths are bridge beings and are intuitive with their communications. And I'm sorry that I have so much to say about this writing, but I just enjoyed it so much. As an empath, I've always been a stabilizing character in the play of my life, whether it's been at home as a child or within my friendships and acquaintances, with employment, with projects I've taken on in life involving working with groups of people, and now with my husband and my daughter. I feel like my presence has always been stabilizing, and so I love how Jason writes about the energy of the Axis beings being stabilizing and bringing discordant or disharmonious energies into harmony and into a higher resonance. And I love where he talks about having a memory of the old world and being a sovereign of the new world. I really connected with that because for things that I've already discussed. But in my pre-life memory, I knew I had to come to Earth despite it being the most horrific thing. And when Jason wrote, "Now you know why you have come back," that just really hit home for me. And I instantly recognized it as the truth. So I think that I am one of the many that came here to help humanity awaken. And I think you are too. So thank you again for being here with me. If you enjoy these readings, please do like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel so that I can reach more people. Thank you.